In this week's episode of Working with Work, it's all about calendars. Hello and welcome to this 36th episode of Working with Work. My name is Carl Pauline, and in this week's episode I want to talk to you about how to use your calendar. Now the reason for this is because I've seen a lot of discussion over the week in Facebook and on Twitter about how to really use your calendar. There seems to be quite a bit of confusion today because we have to-do list managers, we've got calendars of course, and we've got note-taking applications. And what I'm finding is people are getting a bit confused about what should go on your to-do list manager and what should go on your calendar. Now, this to me has always been quite straightforward. An event that requires you to be in a certain place at a certain time goes onto your calendar. So it could be an appointment, it could be a meeting, it could be a sports game you're going to, a birthday party you're going to, the launch of a new car that you might be going to. Whatever that is, then if you have to be in a specific place on a specific day at a specific time, then that goes into your calendar. It doesn't go into your to-do list manager. Now what goes onto your to-do list manager are tasks, things that you have to do. Now that to me is fairly straightforward. Now the discussions that I've seen has been around deadlines. Where should you put the deadline for a specific project or some work that you are doing? Now for me, again, this has always been quite straightforward. A project is in my to-do list manager. In my case, it's in Todoist. So a project deadline would be in Todoist. Now where I put the deadline is actually in the project itself. What you'll find in most to-do list managers, the actual project allows you to have a deadline put in that. Now I would always put the deadline into the project itself. So I actually know where the deadline is, and I also know, I can use tasks for my own specific milestones. They do not go into my calendar. Now I know that Todoist, for example, and most to-do list managers have some form of calendar integration. My favorite calendar application, Fantastical, of course, also will actually synchronize your to-dos in Apple's reminders application into the calendar. I just will not use that function. I don't want to blur the lines between my calendar and my to-do list manager. So for me personally, and you may feel differently about this, project deadlines go into my to-do list manager. I can manage the deadlines in there. But everything else that requires me to be in a specific place on a specific day at a specific time, that goes into my calendar. Now there is one exception, and that is my tickler file. Now this is a bit weird because my tickler file is a legacy from the original Getting Things Done book by David Allen. Basically a tickler file originally was 43 folders that you would keep in a drawer, and they would have the 12 months of the year, so January, February, March, April, and so on, and 31 folders numbered number 1 to 31. And basically you would look at the folder corresponding to the date on the specific day. Today, of course, we live in a digital world, so I have what I call my digital tickler file. To be honest with you, there's only one recurring task in there, which is at the beginning of the month for me to check the tour dates for my favorite band, Above and Beyond. But that's it. So really, I don't actually need my tickler file. It's just a legacy folder. Now I have my tickler file in my to-do list manager. I also have that connected also to my calendar, but it comes up as just at the top line, which just says check dates. It doesn't need to be there, but it is there. But really, what I'm suggesting to you guys is don't confuse the two. The calendar is for specific events on specific days at specific times. And it's something that you would check in the evening when you're doing your daily mini review, because it helps you to see how busy your next day is going to be. Now, if the day is going to be very busy, you actually know that you're not going to get a lot of tasks done. So if you've got back-to-back meetings all day and you're not staying in your hometown, you're on a business trip somewhere, then realistically, a lot of the things that you would normally do on your daily routines, for example, are just not going to get done. So when you do your daily mini review, you can look at your to-do list manager and you can look at your calendar side by side, and you can actually get a really good idea of how the tomorrow is going to be. And that's how you should be using the two together. Now, I know in a recent episode I talked about the hard edges between the things, so maybe if I have repeated myself a little bit, I do apologize. But this discussion has been going on all week, and I really wanted to use this opportunity in this Working with Work episode just to go through the differences about what goes on your calendar and what stays on your calendar. Now, for those of you watching this this week, I've got a very special new series starting tomorrow, which is all about the apps that I'm using, so the apps that I use every day. So in this first episode, which is coming up tomorrow, or it's already published if you're watching this on the weekend, then you will see how I use Fantastical, which is my favorite calendar app, and you'll see how I use that on a daily basis. So look out for that video. It's coming up this week, so it's going to be very close to this episode. Okay guys, hopefully that's cleared up the issue. As I say, this is just my own personal choice. If you want to keep all your to-dos and everything on your calendar, it's going to look rather messy, but if that's what you prefer, then as long as it's working for you, then that's all that really matters. Guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you found it very useful. I hope it's given you a little bit more clarity as to what you want to be using your calendar for. And just before I go, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do like the video, please click on the like button below. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you all a very, very productive week.